you feel if someone you loved, built a life with, one day decides to ruin yours all for the sake of vanity? But this is the story of a young man, Ethan, who had gone through such an event. And this is the concluding part of the story. Sit back, relax, and enjoy it. A rush of emotion, relief, pain, confusion washed over Ethan as he slowly returned to consciousness. There was no mistaking it. The sterile hospital room, the rhythmic beeping of machines, the low murmur of loved ones in hushed tones that pervaded the silence. His friends and family rallied around him. Their constant presence and support, a bright light in the darkness that had surrounded his life. But as he ran his fingers across the deep pock marks that lined his face and body, he felt the weight of his losses sink around him like a cage. The woman he loved had betrayed him. His dreams explained for the second time. And that life he had dreamed of was gone. Recovery was a struggle Ethan had never anticipated. He burned every movement, recalled every mirror glance from which he had drawn memories he wanted to erase. Every scar screams a name. He thought bitterly, staring at his reflection. They say time heals, but what about this? How do you heal when your own body is a map of the worst day of your life? The weight of his thoughts threatened to consume him. But then his nephew's words echoed in his mind. Uncle Ethan, you are the strongest person I know. That simple sentence cracked through his bitterness like sunlight breaking a storm. She may have taken everything, he thought one evening, gripping the arms of his chair. But I'm still breathing. And if I'm alive, I can fight. Slowly, that bitterness turned to resolve. These scars will not define me. I will not let her win. Meanwhile, Clara sat in the stark confines of her prison cell, stripped of the facade she had spent a lifetime constructing. The trial had exposed her darkest truth to the world. Her diary entry. Once I get what I need, I'm leaving. He served his purpose, was the final betrayal. As she sat on the cold concrete floor, a gas voice broke her reverie. The verdict's in. Clara looked up, tears staining her face. But there weren't tears of regret. There were tears of loss. I did this to myself, she realized, clutching her hands. For years, she had blamed Ethan, blamed society, blamed everything but herself. Yet, as the gravel fell, and the judge's voice echoed, guilty of attempted murder. Clara's mind raced back to the backyard where Ethan had once proposed. She saw his smile, his unwavering faith in their future. I destroyed the only person who ever believed in me, she whispered as they led her away. And for what? For the first time, Clara saw the truth. Her actions were not born of love or survival. They were born of our own fears and selfishness. And now, she would carry this weight forever. Returning home was no reprieve for Ethan. Simple tasks felt impossible, and every glance in the mirror forced him to confront the scars etched into his skin. But the love of his family, and especially his young nephew, became his anchor. Slowly, Ethan rebuilt his life. Months later, Ethan stood before a small crowd at the opening of his foundation for victims of domestic violence and trauma recovery. The scars on his face, once a source of shame, had become a symbol of survival. I've learned that scars tell a story, he said, his voice steady as he held up his marked hand. They remind us of where we've been, but they don't have to define where we're going. The camera lingered on the audience, men and women who bore their own wounds, physical and emotional. After the speech, a woman approached Ethan, her voice trembling as she spoke. "Thank you for this," she whispered, tears glistering in her eyes. "You gave me hope when I thought I'd lost it." Ethan smiled faintly, realizing that even broken pieces could be put back together. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ethan sat alone in his study, surrounded by letters from survivors who had found hope through his foundation. Among the pile was an envelope with familiar handwriting. Clara's. He stared at it for a long time before opening it. The letter inside was brief, written in shaking handwriting. "Ethan, I don't ask for forgiveness because I know I don't deserve it. But I need you to know that I loved you once, even if I failed to show it. I am sorry for everything. I hope one day you'll find peace. I know I'll carry this weight forever. Clara." Ethan set the letter down, his expression unreadable. He walked outside to the backyard, the same place where years ago he had proposed to Clara with a heart full of love and hope. In the fading light, he knelt beside the old oak tree where their dreams had once been born. He dug a small hole beneath its roots and placed the letter gently inside. "These roots have carried the weight of our dreams," he whispered, pressing the depth down gently. "Now they will carry the weight of our pain, and from it, something new will grow." He stood up, wiping his hands clean, and looked up at the sky. The first stars had begun to emerge, glimmering softly against the darkening canvas. The stars don't forget the darkness, he thought, but they will shine, and so will I. For the first time in months, a faint smile touched his lips. Forgiveness, even for her, he realized, his shoulders relaxing under the weight of his own freedom. It's for me. Now that marks the concluding part of Shattered Dreams. I know there are people out there that are going through domestic violence, and this will be a reach out to everyone. Send in your stories, and we'll use this platform to reach a larger audience to make them know that they are not alone in this. As usual, this page is strictly for real life stories, and we'll use this page to help others that are also in need and victims in the stories. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Do have a lovely day.